I've been reviewing the Zoom65 ever since its V2 launch. The Zoom series of boards paved the way, along with QWERTY keys, in making the keyboard hobby more accessible for newcomers into the hobby. With every iteration, they made significant improvements to better satisfy their customers. The V3, however, is something quite extraordinary. They actually listen to feedback, especially something I said on the V2.5. What once was an evolution of updates has now turned into a revolution. Please welcome the Zoom65 V3. We are sent with the reviewer's package in this unboxing, and this will not be indicative of the kit you'll be getting. But let's see what's inside the box. First up are the modules for the top right blocker that is now not limited to only a knob, but comes default with an LED screen. Next up are the various mounting methods we'll explore a bit later. Inside the standard Zoom bag, we are greeted with the coiled cable that has been noticeably slimmer than the previous ones, the batteries, the screws for the PCB and plate, some rubber feet, both black and white, stabs which aren't final ones, the PCB alongside the 2.4 GHz adapter, not to mention the plate, of which I have here is a PC and carbon fiber ones. The various foams that come standard with the Zoom ever since the original 65, and finally, the Zoom65 V3, of which I have the pink one with the taillight accessory on the rear. First impressions is that it looks so sleek and quite a bit lighter than I expected. As I was saying earlier, the Zoom65 V3 is a revolution of the 65 family, as they not only added heaps of mounting styles to choose from, but they finally made the knob on the top right modular, with your choice of screen as default, a wand key, a badge, and even a knob add-on should you wish to. The overall design looks to be the same, but under the hood, we got some quality of life changes that will surely help you out in modifying the typing experience of this keyboard. Starting with the ball and latch system that significantly improves disassembly of the board. Previously, you had to remove keycaps to even access the front-facing screws. But now, with just a simple pushback from the case, you could easily change up its mounting styles, add or remove foams as you wish, and basically modify your board in mere minutes. The taillight on the rear is also an option for you to choose from under configurator. I opted mine to have one to see its difference to the normal one, and I say this looks blingy in a good way, quite unique compared to their previous designs. And finally on the back, we could see the updated design, ditching the rectangular weight for something quite symmetrical in the middle, which also houses the dongle for tri-mode connectivity. This might be a controversial move, but I like it as I got the back of the previous 65s all scratched up, and I like the matte finish more than the fingerprint magnet of the previous generations. Pricing starts at $179 USD for the non-taillight version, and it goes up to $189 USD for the taillight version. You got heaps of options to choose from for the colors and design, and I'd love to see the raw aluminum version, but sadly, I got the pink. Plate options range from the typical PC, brass, POM, alu, FR4, and carbon fiber, while also having an option for 1.6mm or even a 1.2mm PCB. Moving on further, let's physically look at the evolution of the Zooms from the V2, V2.5, and then finally the V3. I coincidentally got mine in all pastel colors, and I think it looks like a nice collection. The changes are most noticeable on the V3, with the screen module and taillight module in the rear, not to mention the lighter overall weight because of the differences in the back. The real changes lie with the internals, and how Meltrix has fit so many mounting styles on this keyboard, not to mention my two favorite ones. They essentially went from gasket mount alone to having 7 mounting styles all in one keyboard, this being short arm spring mounting, something quite similar to the Aulab spring, non-load bearing spring mounting, something quite similar to the SPR67 we reviewed a while back, split O-ring mounting, maglev mounting with the use of magnets for max bounce, silica gel particle, which looks like a variant of gasket mount, my second favorite mounting style, which is top mount, and finally something they call floating pogo pin mounting. For this video, I'll be doing Soundtest for the gasket mount, leaf spring mount, and spring mount to get you a sense of its sound. This will be with only the plate foam and with the carbon fiber plate. If you want a deeper look into all the mounting styles, my friend RX003 did all of that, and I'll leave it linked down below. As for the PCB, this is completely changed from the previous ones. It supports all the add-ons for the top right blocker, and now also has an option for Hall effect switches, should you desire. Otherwise, it's your typical 1.2 or 1.6mm PCB with hot swap sockets and RGB all over. This is the most complex PCB I've had time on, and that's saying a lot. QMK is also here, and with Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz, this might not be the most light or portable board you could carry for travel, but it can certainly do so, with all these options for the top right badge and accessories. Not to mention the plethora of case colors and finishes, is without a doubt the most customizable keyboard I've ever built. The Zoom65 V3 deserves praise for upping up the game on this one, while retaining its price tag from previous iterations. As for the build experience, even though the mounting options are vast, I was able to easily grasp it and modify it thanks to the ball and latch system. I built mine up with NK creams and WS swab keycaps. And this is how it sounds with the multiple mounting styles I've said earlier. The only foam I put is plate foam, and this is with the carbon fiber plate. Enjoy! As for my experience, they sound all nice for the most part. I most especially like the spring mount, as it gives the bounciest feel and the loudest sound of all the three. It bounces the whole board more, even compared to my SPR67, which almost has the same mounting style, but you'd be the judge on this one. Overall, their various implementations are great, and the freedom of choice for the users is an added bonus. For a while back then, I always thought Meltrix was just capitalizing their brand recognition for the Zoom65 series without any innovations in sight. But the V3 proved me so wrong. With all the backlash they got on the V2.5 being just a minor redesign, the V3 is bar none the most improved, let alone the best version of the Zoom series they have ever made. If you told me back when the 65 V2 was announced, that they fulfill my request for top mount, I wouldn't believe you. But here we are now. I'm quite impressed by the engineering feat they've done with this board. The infinite choices you have for typing feel and sound, not to mention the case finishes, badges, knobs, and modules you get, plus the backweight design, is something quite unique in this price point. Even though the competition has stepped up lately, with new boards coming out left and right for cheaper and cheaper, the Zoom series of boards from Meltrix will always be a staple for what's possible for cheap, and the V3 comes highly recommended. I wish they also innovate this on future Zoom layouts, such as maybe a TKL rebirth soon, or maybe something for the 60% lovers like me. Anyways, what are your thoughts on the Zoom65? Let me know down below. I'm Johan J. Bimaba, and I'll see you in the next video.